Next part, Leonie wants to send a reminder to walkers where the balance to pay is greater than their average monthly payment. Okay, so the organizer of this event, Leonie, wants to send a reminder to walkers where the balance to pay, so this value here, I'm just going to start putting labels here now so we know what's what. That's balance, that's average, and that's total paid, just so we're clear. Okay, so where the balance is greater than the average monthly payment, so where this is greater than that. So a reminder will be sent to each individual if their balance value is more than their average value. Okay, so enter a formula in cell L6. So that's the one next to it right here. Let me just make this bigger over here. So L6 here. Enter a formula in cell L6 that displays yes if the balance to pay for the first walker is greater than their average monthly payment, or no if it's not greater. So the word yes should appear here if this is more than that. The word no should appear here if this is not more than that. Yeah, let me just put a title over here, a label, I'm putting a label here, reminder. So a reminder will read yes if it is true when a test is done comparing this value with that value, and it's greater. So if balance is more than average, then it will say yes. If balance is not more than average, then it will say no. Well, we know what it's going to say here, but the idea is that this is automatically going to be generated for all the walkers. Right, okay, so let's go ahead. This is an if statement. So this wants us to enter an if statement. So I'll do this using the actual wizard, if you like. So I'm going to go up here to formulas, and then I'm going to go to logical, and then I'm going to select if. Okay, with if, you need to enter 1, 2, 3 arguments as a minimum. So 3 values need to be entered. The first is the actual test. What are you testing here? So in this case, I'm testing whether this value is more than that value. The more than sign is shift full stop on my keyboard, so it'll be something similar on yours. So just have a look for that. You can also have it going the other way if you're testing something as less than something, but in this case we're just going to go ahead and do more than first. So if K6 is more than J6, so K6 is more than J6, value if true. What text do you want to appear, or what value do you want to appear if that test is true? Well, if K6 is more than J6, then we want a reminder to be sent, and in that case we're going to type yes here. So you can see here I've typed yes, and in the next box, what if it's not true? Or then I want to request no to be returned. There we go. So notice how I just typed the letters or the word, and it automatically puts speech marks on it itself, so you leave them, and then you just press OK on that, and automatically you can see it's made yes appear. So this formula reads that if, open bracket, K6 more than J6, comma, speech marks yes, speech marks, comma, speech marks no, speech marks. Okay, so the logical test is the more than or equals or less than test that you're doing. The value if true is the word or the number you want to appear if that test is true. And the value of false will be the word or number to appear if that test is not true. So that's how you do that. Okay, enter. Lovely, that's done. Resave task SS1. Save that again. Moving on. Replicate the formula in cells I6 to L6 for the other walkers. So I6 from here to L6 all the way to the bottom. So it wants it replicated. You can actually do this row by row if you want to. So remember, you go to the bottom right hand corner where the formula already is in whichever cell, and you wait for the black cross, and then you click and then you drag, and that copies the actual formula down. So if I highlight, if I double click, you can see it's D15 to H15, so it's gone down relative numbers of rows. Yeah, and then you can do the same for this. That would work. That's fine. You can select them all together and do them all together if you want, but there's a reason why I'm not doing it. Let's see what happens to this one. This is the balance. This is B3 minus I6. If I go down, yeah, it's not worked because something is up. Let's have a look. So in this case, it is B3 minus I6. That's correct. B3 is the cost and I6 is the total paid, right? That's fine. What's happening over here? B4 minus I7. Right, so because I did the fill handle, it's taken it down one row for the cost as well as the total paid. This going down one is correct. This going down one is not correct. So we need to make sure it always says B3. So my formula needs to be adjusted here. So this is where absolute cell referencing comes in. This is when you lock a cell so it doesn't move even when you do the fill handle. So how you do that is you click anywhere in or around the actual cell reference, and then you press F4. On my keyboard, I have to press function and F4. You just figure out what you need to do to get those dollar signs. If you're trying and you can't figure it out, just do dollar sign, just type the dollar sign in front of the B and then in front of the 3, and then press enter. And then when you go ahead and fill handle that, you will notice that the B3 was locked, but the I value changed there. Sorry, so you can see here B3, I8, B3, I9, and so on. Okay, so that's absolute cell referencing, so that has to be done. That actually needed to be done before, but I wanted to show this before I actually spoke about it, so it made more sense and I wasn't completing a later task before. So you've got to make sure that this value is an absolute cell reference. Do that formula. Okay. For this, you can go ahead and do the fill handle. That's absolutely fine. You can go ahead and do that. Lovely, right? So that will work. So yes, no appearing as they should. You can see that the no's are appearing where the balance is not greater than the average, not greater than the average, not greater than the average. Okay, that will make sense. That is done. Okay, resave the task SS1. Let's just do it here, but we'll do it again at the end of this grey chunk of instructions anyway. Prepare the payments worksheet so it would print on one side of A4 showing the formula. Make sure the row and column headings are shown. We might see that some things are maybe locked or hidden away. This data is being hidden over here. Make sure columns I, J, K, and L are wide enough to show the complete formula. Reduce the width of other columns if necessary to show that all your formula can be read. Let me just expand this. Right, we're just going to make sure that everything is readable here. So I can see here some things are not readable. So I'm just going to select all of these rows up here. Columns, beg your pardon, and I'm going to double click on any one of the columns on the right hand side. There we go, so it automatically resizes it. This might have gone a bit too long because of this up here, so what you can do is just downsize that one a little bit and just let that roll across, that's fine. This one's obviously gone across quite a great deal or widened quite a great deal because of this title up here, so again you can just take that down up to May. And that's fine as well, but everything else has been automatically resized. What else has this asked us to do? I can see obviously there's a couple of other things that needs to be done to sort the data out, but we don't need to do them just yet. So make sure it prints on one side, make sure the row and column headings are shown, they are shown, make sure columns I, J, K, and L are wide enough to show the formula, right? So formula and making the whole thing fit onto one side of A4, right? So first we need to see the formula. Let me just press save on that. The formula. Here we go. So in formulas, in the formula menu option, you go to show formulas, and this shows every cell which has a formula. So you can see it's widened a lot of columns, but we don't want them excessively widened because then it just unnecessarily looks quite tiny when it comes to you printing it for the actual exam, or even when you're saving it as a PDF. We just want to make sure it's, so you can obviously double click. What am I doing? Double click, here we go. Sometimes you can leave a bit of an extra margin if you think it looks a bit too clustered, a bit too crowded, and that's fine. This is all good. All right, if I was to go to File, Print Preview now, let me just go to Print. This is what it would look like. It's looking quite good, looking quite fine, but it's probably because I've already got some settings saved. So what you need to do to make sure it prints onto one side of A4, you first need to go to Page Layout and then go to Print Area and then Set Print Area. Oh, hold on a second. Sorry, you have to select the area first. So you can select, where's this gone? That's gone somewhere. Let me get that back. Let me just do a merge and center there. That's fine. You can merge and center so something can actually be read across columns and cells. So I'm going to select all the data that I actually want to show in my task. And I'm going to go to page layout, and then just say set print area. So just have all of this ready to be seen in the printed area. And then I'm going to go to file, print, and it's already at landscape. By default, it will probably be set as portrait for you, and very likely it will be spread across a couple of pages like this. So this is spread across 3 pages. So what you need to do in those cases when there's quite a lot of data, you first need to check that it is in the correct orientation. So in this case, we need landscape. And then still you can see it's still going across to 2 pages, whereas the instructions said make sure it prints or fits on one side of A4. So another thing you can do is you can try custom margins and just narrow the margins, and sometimes that helps things out a bit. So you can see it's helped things out a bit here, but we've still got a couple of columns left. So in that case, you can just go straight to scaling and select fit sheet on 1 page. And there you go, that fits onto 1 page. So for the sake of the actual term assessments, before we get the printers ready, we will just save this for now as is. Did the instructions say to save the formula version? Right, so what I'm going to do is just do file save as practical assessment, and I'm just going to leave this as formula. Did it want us to save a PDF of it? It hasn't asked us to save a PDF of it, so I'm just going to save it as formula. There you go, that's fine. Okay, so that's how you would complete task SS1. The next video will show how to complete task SS2.